All right, guys, in today's video, we're talking about how you can actually swing slower, yet hit the ball farther. To my right here, first time on the channel, Mr. Rob Chaney. Appreciate you being out here with us,
Thanks
man.
for having me, Eric.
Thanks for coming down. We're in beautiful Boca. The sun is out. We got some nice weather.
Looks great.
And today we're talking about really the sequencing, right?
That's right.
The thing or the trick of it is to get the sequencing correct,
Yep.
to be able to hit the ball farther without swinging harder. And we really see, Rob, in a lot of the lessons we give, the typical issue that the amateur golfer has is they do this initial downswing sequencing wrong, and we're going to show them how to fix that. If we could start with the issue or the main thing that we see amateurs do, and then we'll get into the fixes.
So if anyone watching has ever experienced the feeling in their swing where they're trying really hard and getting very little outcome or benefit from that swing, this video is for you. And also, if you've ever experienced that effortless swing that feels like, oh my God, I didn't even feel the ball off the club face, and you look up and it's a nice one. Typically what we're seeing, Eric, I think, when you get to the top is golfers who feel like they have to put a lot of power into the swing, they tend to open up their body too quickly. And the body does more than it should do at this point in time in the swing, and the arms get stuck and trapped behind them. They swing down too steep, and we know that that causes a loss of efficiency in the strike. So this is really about understanding the role of the body and the arms, and specifically the arms in this drill, to help people get their arms down in the downswing, get the arms off their body. One thing I would say that in terms of speed, and a lot of people don't necessarily know this, they think all of the speed needs to happen at the bottom, and that's correct with the club head, but the fastest period of time that the hands are moving in the swing is from P4 to P5, which for those people not familiar with the P system, Eric, do you want to talk us through that? Yeah,
so the top of the golf swing would be P4,
yeah.
Right? We've got the top, and then P5 would be when left arm's parallel during the downswing.
So
it's a short period of time.
Very short. You look at any real sort of 3D measurement, good players, long hitters, their hands, peak hand speed is in this area of the swing.
Yeah.
So it stands to reason that that's where the golfers watching should be trying to put the effort in with their hands.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, as you say, they get that out of sequence, they move their body too fast, and then there's nothing left there. You just can't get the energy out to the ball in time.
Yeah, we see, certainly a good downswing. If we looked at any good player, it's a blending of the torso movements and the arms.
Without a doubt.
Of course, we know that, we see that, we recognize that. That's what we're all shooting for. But if the average player and you watching does a lot of the upper body early, that takes a lot of effort. A lot of effort to do that. So while it should be a blend, if you're coming from lots of upper body, arms back, we have to in fact feel the opposite of that to just get to neutral. And if you could, Rob, show us the drill. And I like in some of your videos, you showed some B-roll of Justin Rose doing this drill.
Yeah.
There's some Bryson, but what's the feel for the golfer who wants to get that?
It's really to get to the top of the swing. Imagine the body staying in the same place, and I would describe that as maybe closed to the target.
Yep.
So as I make my full backswing, I've got my shoulder turn, I've got my back to the target, and the feel then would be to move the arms down to around P6. P6 is where the shaft is parallel to the ground in the downswing. And you'll see as I'm doing that, you look, the camera is looking back at my zipper here on my top. My zipper kind of stays in the same place.
Yeah.
I'm not moving that out of position. So the turns are staying closed and the arms are pulling down. And as you say, there's nice videos of some very good players choosing to use that feel in their swing as well.
Yeah.
Because it helps them get the sequence right. And that's really what we're doing. We're balancing the scales. Too much body is bad, too much arms only is bad, and we're trying to help people blend
the two together.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of doing that, if someone wants to learn that, would you have them do, hey, maybe we'll do 1 or 2 rehearsals, kind of keep the back to the target, learn how to get the arms down, and then hit one with that feel?
Yeah, I would. And I'd encourage them to move their arms down quite fast in this sort of pump drill, I would say.
Okay.
While learning to keep the body closed. And as I demonstrate that might look quite easy to do, but often when you show somebody who doesn't have that sequence, they try and pull the arms down, but the body still wants to go. So maybe start out slow. We say that a lot with the drills that we teach, right?
Yeah.
If you can't do it quickly, if you can't do it slowly, you can't do it quickly. I would say to someone who struggles with this, just stand up and maybe in front of a mirror, see that you're keeping your turns closed, lower the arms. Do that a couple of times, and then just, chip a couple out there and get that feeling to start with before building up the speed.
That's what I was gonna ask, Rob. If you could do one more, give us one more demo, and then I'm gonna hop in there and do that.
Yeah.
So again, the goal here in a real swing is blending the body and arms.
Yeah.
If you're coming from lots of effort and lots of upper body, we're having you feel arms only.
Yeah.
And then of course, when Rob would do his hit, we're gonna see that his arms and his body are both gonna go together, and we're blending the motion. And so I think as a simple way to look at that, Rob, if you're going to play golf and you feel like you're really trying hard and not getting a lot out of it, you're very likely on the end of the spectrum of lots of upper body early.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to feel like we're swinging easy or less effort by having those arms go down. So let me do a couple of those just to get an idea. And this idea here of sequencing would apply to 7-iron, sand wedge, driver, like
every
all
club,
clubs.
every club. But I would also, just on that point, and that's a question I'm sure you get asked a lot, I know I do on the channel, is it the same with the driver? It's probably the most asked question on my channel.
Yeah, sir.
Is it the same with the driver? I'd say the movement of the arms and the sequence is similar, yes, but the swing's faster. The club head, the swing is faster with the driver. Therefore, you actually need to have more effort, more intention to move the arms down first with the driver than you do with the sand wedge.
Yeah.
Because these have got farther to travel, and the speed is greater. So you've really got to actually put more effort into doing the arms only with the driver. And a lot of people will benefit from that thought, because typically if you're struggling with loss of distance or slicing, it's a driver problem more than anything else.
Yeah.
So getting those arms down first, same with all clubs, but try to do it more with the driver.
Gotcha, okay. So I'm making my normal backswing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna feel like my back stays towards the target.
Nice.
My chest stays away. And I'm getting the club, Rob, down to kind of what we call P6, shaft blast parallel. Yeah. Okay.
Right arm's straightening as you do that. So go to the top again. Right arm's bent about 90 degrees at the top. It's probably bent 15 degrees by the time you get down to P6. So feel the right arms. No.
Keeping this back behind me or super bent. Okay.
Arms down to 6. Yeah.
Back
and as you go at that, once you've done a couple, as I say, try to just feel that a little faster, because we want the energy and the effort in there.
Okay.
We want the speed to be in the right place. Yes, nice.
Okay, gotcha. So a little bit more
zip to it, yeah.
Gotcha. Let me hit one with that similar feel there, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna feel like that. I do that in early transition.
Hands first.
Hands first.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, that was a nice strike there. So I certainly feel that when I go play, like when I feel like I have a lot of, and have in the past, a lot of this motion, you know, not only do I get the bad things of the club typically coming too far out, I'm gonna probably have to fix that later with some early extension. There's other problems to having the torso go first, other than just too much effort.
Yeah.
There's some actual functional things in the golf swing that don't go good.
Definitely.
And so Rob, if someone's doing this, I'm assuming they're getting some added benefit of like having the arms and club staying on plane, swinging from inside.
Exactly.
To your point, like if you're the big, you know, big pull or big slice with the driver, they would probably have to feel this the most. I
would agree. I would agree. You could even, if you're a real slicer and you still struggle, as you do that lowering piece, you could actually make the P6 position a little more behind you.
Yeah, okay.
So that shaft is more, the club head's more inside the hands from the down the line camera. And if you make that rehearsal down and keep the club head more inside the hands, you're training a more inside path to the ball. So that would be an extra piece for someone who still does this drill and still feels like they slice too much.
Gotcha, okay. We almost like a 4 o'clock little station. You know, if we have a
that's 3, a nice,
okay, kind of a 4 o'clock. I like that. I'm gonna add that in here. So, and in the next video, Rob, in a couple of days, we're gonna talk more about what we should actually feel with the body. That's coming in video too, but really just to hone in on the arms, up to the top, back to the target, chest away. And so I'm gonna exaggerate a little more inside here.
Yeah,
so
for someone who already hits the ball with a small draw like you do, I might expect this one to maybe over curve, but you know, that's okay. This drill, this extra piece is for the slicer.
Yeah, okay. And I'll take a little overdraw, right? That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
I don't mind
it. So up to the top, yeah, much better than the opposite.
Yeah.
Allowing the right arm to straighten and a little more speed. I can see I'm going a little slow when I'm doing mine.
And that's okay when you start, but the goal here would be to get the hands moving really quickly in the beginning, and then the body will catch up and get involved.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. And I think that's an important point for someone watching. They're like, wait a minute. Like, you know, I thought your body's supposed to do things. It is supposed to, it does. We'll go over that.
Yeah.
We're very specifically talking about if you've got too much of this already, the upper body's really winning the race. We're trying to catch these arms up. And I know you said, Rob, in one of the other pieces, just about the midline of the body.
Yeah.
where like the worst thing, or like the poorest golfer would have the arms behind the midline too long.
For too long, yeah.
Whereas the better golfer gets them more forward of the midline sooner.
Correct. Then again, there's a place that happens in good swings, and we're balancing the scales once again. But for this drill, the person who has their arms stuck on their body,
yeah,
and doesn't get the arms out in front and past the midline, the center line of the body, then they're going to be sacrificing distance.
Yeah.
A lot of effort for not a lot of speed.
And probably contact.
A lot of problems, right?
So like, do you see, like I see way more golfers who come to see me who are struggling with contact or your handicap's higher, who have the arms too far behind them.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'm trying to think of golfers that I see who get their arms too far forward relative to the midline, and it's a very small percent.
And I think that's because there's in my eyes, a little bit of an overemphasis on opening up the hips in the downswing.
Yeah.
I think that message has been portrayed on social media quite strongly.
Yeah.
And so you'll find that people get to the top of their swing and their first intention is to open their body with no regard for the arms and not realizing they're getting stuck.
And I think that's because we do a lot of hip rotation videos too. It's like, it's given the fact that the arms are coming down as it's happening. And that's maybe what has been missing in some of even our messaging as well. Let me do one more here, Rob.
Sure.
On that. So up to the top, back to the target, arms down, letting the right arm straight, and maybe feeling like the club head's a little more inside my hands if I'm the slicer.
You do that nice. That's good.
So back to the target, arms down from the top. Yeah, kind of like you said, that probably was a little bit more of a push draw. I'd take that all day. It's
a nice shot.
10 feet right of the target, maybe.
One final feel that I like with this one as well, if I'll jump in,
Yeah.
because we've got the mat here. This is quite a common sort of practice station that a lot of people would have, even if it was just a square mat that somebody was standing on. Another feel that you might like with any of the clubs, but particularly the driver, is to swing down and almost feel like the club strikes the back of the mat. I quite like that one again for someone who leaves the arms up for too long and gets it outside them. So I'll maybe even go past P6 for someone who's really struggling to get the arms moving fast enough, soon enough.
Yeah.
Get them right down to the mat.
Yeah, love that. We'll show within here a couple of me doing those drills so they can see that too. Rob, I appreciate that for video number 1. In the next video, which will come out a couple days from now, we kind of have the arms sorted in terms of getting the sequencing right. But of course the body does do some things.
It does.
And we're going to talk about really the most important thing it does, and how to start the downswing with the body in the next video. So make sure you stay tuned a couple days to watch that one.